I think that one of the issues, at least this is going to be my mantra. I think this is woven in the fabric of my voice, is this driving home factor that we are brothers and sons, we are daughters, we are family members. We are supposed to be like them. Like when Christ says, I'm praying that you will be brought into the unity that I share with the Father. And that unity being described or expressed as, if you see me, you see the Father, then there's a uniqueness in our DNA to be like the Father. I hear it in the language, I hear it in the actions, I see it. They still live outside of that paradigm. They still live thinking, you're God in heaven, I am here on earth. I'm worthy to be a servant, but not to be like you. They see it in scriptures. You read through and through, you see all this dialogue, all this illustration about being one and coming up into, that the student isn't greater than the master or the teacher, but it's enough to be like him. Well, as long as you continue in your thought life and your language to always be substandard of that position of, well, I'm always going to be lower, I can't do this apart from you, and always in a low place, almost a false humility, but really it's not so much a false humility, it's a naivety towards the true statement of who you are supposed to be. As long as we live there, we'll always fall short of the capabilities of who we are. If we never embrace the fact that we're supposed to be like him, then we'll always have this caveat that says, well, I can't really do it like him. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't be the greater works because I'm not really like him. I'm saved because of Christ, and that's good enough for me. It's over the threshold, but never really embracing the full identity. It's saying, come sit at my table, eat my food. And you're like, that's okay. I'll just sit on the couch. You guys, when you're done with your dinner, I'll sit over here. We act like guests. We act like servants and stewards in his house. We don't act like sons. We don't act like brothers. We don't walk in the confidence of that capacity. And it's something people would say, oh yeah, that's who I am. But their language, day in, day out, their actions, day in, day out, belie the fact that that's not their true belief system because they don't back up their faith, their words. They run through the jargon. They can quote scripture of that fact about being in that capacity, being unified with the Father. But their life, day in, day out, doesn't demonstrate that. Right? The full extreme is the declaration that Christ says to the Pharisees, you're of your father, the devil. Well, he wasn't just calling them names. He was basically calling out that they have chosen a mindset of speech, a lifestyle that emulates the other guy, not the one that they're supposed to be part of, not the father, the household that they're supposed to be emulating. They may have the Father's name on them, but they're sure ain't acting like it. They're acting like somebody else. And I think too many of our brothers and sisters have the name, the badge on, but they have a character and a nature and a speech life and a thought life that is of a different household. And as long as there's admixture, how can you ever obtain to the fullness of that character and nature? This is why James talks about a double tongue. It's not that they're conscious of it. Sometimes it's woven into the corruptive nature of our being that we don't realize that we say one thing and yet we act out another thing. And this is the paradox. And that's why we have to begin to go through the process of rewiring ourselves, right? But so many don't truly believe, aren't comfortable in the idea of being equal to Christ, even though he's called them and invited them into it, even though he's praying that they come in and be like him. There's something in the subconscious, something culturally trained into them that will never ever allow them to sit on the throne of Christ alongside him. And because of that, they shortchange themselves of the power that resides in that throne. You can't have the power unless you sit on the throne. You can't have the authority unless you sit on the throne. So as long as you won't go up there, and the audacity and the boldness that's been gifted to us, I think that's the greatest gift. The gift of the outstretched scepter of the Father saying, come up here and sit with me. Sit right here, right inside your brother. And too many say, no, I'm unworthy to sit on the throne because of the lie, right? It's like I'm holy, I'm made holy and perfect because of you. So I'm just going to stay down here on the lower steps and I'll find myself happy here for the rest of eternity. It's a false humility. It's built on an absolute lie. Most would not see that because they don't understand how it's woven into their thought life. Most don't understand that because they don't realize that they speak differently from it. I think that's a major part of why we don't see the greater signs in a more magnificent way among the brethren, among the family. It's like we've given this inheritance, but we just won't go use it, right? Here's the bank card, go withdraw the money. And I think this is really the idea of the talents, right? The 10, 5, and 1 talent. I'm not sure I'm going to spend this money. I'm really not going to do this because I don't really have the right relationship, right? I'm going to dishonor him somehow. I'll use it wrongly, or he's going to just use it wrongly. Whatever. It was this broken relationship. And I think that's the difference for me, is that I've come to this place without the awkwardness of saying, hey, brother, when I'm talking to you. It's a legitimate family connection. I want to see the manifestation of what it means to walk as his son, what it means to walk in the house of my father. I want to see his government. When I speak, it manifests in creation, in relationships. The truth of the matter is, I believe, and I'm of the opinion, that when a son walks the earth, a true manifested son, walking in the fullness and the capacity of who he is, everybody fears and trembles. Because they know that when they open their mouth, the earth shakes and the heavens bow down. And it's not from this place of superiority in the mind and heart of that son. It's from a place of confidence in the loyalty and understanding of who they are and the position of the father. And because the father's pleased with the son, when he speaks, the father releases the full government. It's go do that. He said that, go do it. And there's no hesitancy, right? When sons really begin to walk in the fullness, the world will shake and the heavens will bow down, because the Father will be glorified in the sons. The Father will glorify the sons. That's the pinnacle. That's the not greater than, but the like unto our older brother, right? As he says, Father, I've glorified you, and glorify yourself again. And out of heaven, the earth shakes and the heavens thunder. And the Father says, and I will now glorify you again. And everybody's like, what was that, right? As the earth responded to the Father's voice and his pleasure over his son. That's what we're after in the fullness. But until we get that place of understanding that we really are in that house of that blood, we are really of that nature, then we're going to struggle with doing the greater works.
Thanks for taking time out of your day to listen to this podcast. I greatly appreciate it. If you're listening for the first time and you want to continue following the podcast, head over to Substack, search for Sugalu Studios, and click on the subscribe button. If you want to learn more about Sugalu Studios, check out my website at sugalustudios.com. You can also find me on Telegram, X, Discord, and YouTube. Until next time, continue to discover the you he designed you to be.